can't figure out the difference between broths and stocks. I think they're pretty much the same thing. Stock is basically just some water to which you add bones, meat, some vegetables, some flavoring elements, boil it for a while, strain it, sometimes use it right away or freeze it. But I want to show you how to make some really good broths that are deep in flavor and pretty clear so that you can get the most out of the stuff that you do add to the water. So the best way to make a really good stock is to roast and caramelize both the meat, the bones, and the onions that you're going to be adding, because all those kind of caramel flavors get added to the water. Using the appropriate size stock pot is also good. Let's say you're going to make a lot of stock, you need a lot of meat and bones. I usually try to get 1/3 to 1/2 meat, bones, and vegetables to the remainder of water. If you use too small a pot and just a little bit of water, the stock is going to be very, very heavy and too rich. You don't want that either. One thing that's very important to do is to simmer the stock for 4 or 5 hours if you can. If you boil, then the stock gets kind of cloudy. So a long, slow simmer with bubbles barely breaking the surface is the best thing to do. Skimming all the time, the foam and the fat that arises to the top. Now about salt, I like to add as I go along. Not a lot at the beginning because you can't take that out, and not all the way till the end because you want to be sure that it develops the flavors as well. I add a little bit as I'm going along and then testing all the time for it, seeing how my levels are. Strain the stock through a strainer, sometimes with cheesecloth if necessary. Then let the stock settle and skim the fat off the top either that day or the next day after it's chilled in the refrigerator. You can save stock in the refrigerator, of course, but it's also nice to have some in your freezer. Put it in zipper bags with the date and the amount. And I particularly like freeze some in ice cube trays so that I have 2 or 3 tablespoons of stock when I need it for deglazing or adding a little bit of flavor to a dish.